Well, welcome to another season of Connect Groups, and I am speaking to the Connect Group leaders. So I want to say to you first, thank you very much for making the sacrifice and the commitment to lead a Connect Group. And I know exactly what you're going through because Mary and I have led groups for years. So I know you're opening up your life. Many of you are opening up your homes. And so I appreciate that. You are the reason why our church can continue in health, because we are designed to be connected in relationships, to lift each other up and to sharpen each other. So I want to say thank you. And here's an exciting part. We just about doubled the amount of groups that we have meeting from last year. So we now have 43 groups that meet every single week. And we have a bunch more in the pipeline ready to come in the next season of Connect Groups, and which I'm just really excited about. So what I want to do in this video is I want to kind of walk you through a couple of things that we need from you, and then tell you something that has changed a little bit. It's something that we haven't quite figured out completely, but we're tweaking some things. So I just want to walk you through that process. So first, let me just begin with what we need from you. So here's the most important part: is we need consistency. Now, one of the things we've seen in the past years for the groups that fail, that start to fade away, is at some point they quit being consistent. And that could be a few things. One, maybe it's they don't continue to meet every single week. So they start to take a week off here and there, and they think it's not that big of a deal. But I'll tell you, nothing will kill momentum more than inconsistency. And also, especially if you're a new group and you're starting to get to know each other, you need that week in and week out consistency with the group. But here's another form of inconsistency that can hurt your group, and that is you don't follow the system that we've given you. So we've told everyone in our church that our Connect Groups are based on Sunday's message. We have a system. So if you break off from that, I'll tell you that will eventually hurt your group, because there will be people in there that will be frustrated that you're not following the system and being connected with the rest of the church. So how you can make sure that you stay consistent in that is set a time every single week that your group's going to begin. So if your group starts at, say, 7 p.m., just set that every single time, no matter who's there or not there. We're going to start at 7 p.m. And in the beginning, if you do food and some type of refreshment, which I do suggest, I think all groups should have a little bit of food, do that, but set a time for that. So maybe the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes is food and hanging out, but then set that consistent time that you're going to start the video each week, watch it, engage in conversation, and then set a consistent time to end the group in prayer, and then you can dismiss, because that allows people that want to stick around and fellowship and talk to do so, but those who need to leave, they can go. And if you will follow this consistently, so every single week, have a start point, have an end point, you will allow your group to feel very safe, as they know there will be a process that they can go through and expect every week, and then that will allow them to feel more comfortable. And then what you'll see is people will typically stay around a little bit longer in fellowship, and everyone will get into a good rhythm, and it will make your group healthier. Here's the second thing we need from everyone, and I just want to say this really bluntly and directly, but you know my heart is one of love, is I absolutely need you to support the leadership of our church. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean you have to agree with every decision that we make? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But if there is ever an issue that you're having with our church, with the leadership, with a decision that we've made or that I've made personally, I'm asking you not to use your Connect Group as a way of processing through that. Instead, I have an open door invitation, all of our pastors do. Come in and have a conversation with us. We just simply don't have bad conversations, because we handle everything with transparency, open-hearted. We want to connect with your heart. We want you to hear what's coming from our heart. So if you have any issues, any questions, any frustrations, if you feel like we've dropped the ball, we probably did drop the ball. So come in, talk to us, let's process it through together, and that way you can lead in a healthy way and your group can continue to be healthy. Because here's what we're doing. By you being a Connect Group, we're entrusting into you the leadership of the people God has entrusted to us. So that comes with great responsibility for us and great responsibility for you. So just make sure that you always use that in a healthy way. Don't allow your group to ever be a group that's gossipy, that talks about the church. It's not, I will just tell you, Connect Groups are not designed to be a group where you talk about all the things you're frustrated about in life. Instead, always go toward redemption, go toward positive things. And if you're talking about something in the church and someone in your group is frustrated or someone has a question, you can say the same thing to them. Go and talk to one of the pastors. They would love to sit down with you. And if by chance they're uncomfortable, then have them give you their question and you come and talk to us. And I promise you, you will not regret that. We will always have open doors and welcome you in to discuss anything. All right, so here's lastly something that we need from everyone. And this is a little bit of a change, and this is one that's still in the process because we're just launching it now with Connect Groups. we are changing how we do our devotional books, which means we're changing a little bit of how we're doing Connect groups. So every single week in Connect groups, you're going to have some consistency. You're going to have a video that recaps the message from Sunday or maybe goes a little bit deeper in a point. You're going to have some questions. And what we want you to do is always go through that process. But what we're adding to it now is that we're going to have one scripture. It's typically going to be one verse, maybe two verses, that we're going to highlight every single week that comes from either the message or the theme of the message. And what we're going to do in our devotional books is we're going to break that down. So day one is going to be a challenge for the week. So this will be on Sundays. When you open your devotional book, the Sunday Devo part will simply be a challenge of how you can take that message and apply it to your life during the week. On day two, we're going to give you a little bit of context for that passage. So it's a little bit more Bible study oriented, almost like a commentary if you're familiar with that. So we're going to give you some context for the passage, tell you what has happened around that part of the Bible, maybe some history there. Then on day three, we're going to take that one verse or those two verses and we're going to really break them down to what it means. So the first day is a challenge, and then the next 2 days are going to be taking you deeper into a passage of Scripture. And then the last 4 days are going to be like what we've had before, of taking that theme and giving us some practical application through Devos so people can read through that and see how that can encourage them. And then we're going to challenge every single person to take that verse and memorize it each week. We're not going to test, when you come together, you're not going to necessarily go around the room and say each person has to say it, but we're just hoping you will meditate on that verse week in and week out. And that way, if this goes as planned, at the end of the season, all of us would have memorized 20, 30 scriptures so that the Lord can plant those deep into our hearts. So in your groups, you're going to talk about that passage of Scripture each week. So some of the questions are going to be a little bit about that, and it's going to allow you as a group to go a little bit deeper into the Word and have that element to it. And then lastly, in your group each week, the last question on the screen before prayer request, the last question is going to be an opportunity for each person to list a goal that they have for the upcoming week. You're going to write it down as a group leader. So you have to always have a piece of paper, and do not lose that paper. Write it down. And then the next week, the first question is going to be about how did you do with that goal or that challenge that you had for the week. And so it's your responsibility to have that paper, bring it back, and go through that with your group. And we're excited to see how God uses this to really to take us deeper into things of faith. So as we're going through this, if there's something we can do better, let us know. We're very open to suggestions because we're going to kind of tweak this until we get it exactly how we want it. So guys, again, I want to say I love you. I'm so proud of you. I'm praying for all of your groups. And if you have any questions, please contact Pastor Brandon. He would love to help you in any way. God bless you.